Ողջույն, IT-ի եթերում մենք շարունակում ենք հետևել հայկական IT-ի հիթային նորություններին։ Այսօր կզրուցենք SADA ընկերության գործադիր տնօրեն Թոնի Սաֆոյանի հետ։ SADA-ն հիշեցնենք, որ Միացյալ Նահանգներում 50 լավագույն աշխատատեղերից մեկն է եւ համարվում է Google-ի լավագույն գործընկերներից։ Ողջույն, պարոն Սաֆոյան, շնորհակալություն մեզ հյուրընկալվելու, մեզ միանալու համար։ Կխնդրեի նախ ներկայացնել ձեր ընկերության հաջողության պատմությունը, քանի որ մի կողմից մեծ պատասխանատվություն է ընտանիքի առաջ, քանի որ ձեր ընկերությունը ընտանիքով եք հիմնել, ինչպես նաև Google-ի նման մեծ գործընկեր ունենալու պատասխանատվությունը կա։
Բարև ձեզ սիրելի հայրենակիցներ, ես շատ ողջավորված եմ մեր մեծ ներդրումներով Հայաստանում եւ շատ շնորհակալ եմ այս առիթի համար։ With regards to balancing the family business with all the pressures of running a large enterprise, I think it's an interesting question that we have dealt with for the whole time, for 21 years, doing this together with my parents. And it's a really important balance for us, because at the same time, I think if you partner with family in the right way, it's actually the best possible way to build a business. But I also understand that for some people, they would say never work with family, never partner with family. And I think for some people that's true. If in this situation, if something works well, it works very well. But when it doesn't work, it's really can be hard on the family. But I'm very fortunate that for me and for my parents, we've always been very aligned on what the priorities are. And I think a lot of our success is due to specifically that we have been doing this as a family together for so long. Otherwise, we would not be as successful as we have been.
Եթե ձեր գործունեությունը SADA-ում չլիներ, ապա ինչ ընկերություն կհիմնեիք ու նաև կխնդրեի մեկնաբանել ինչ գործունեության ոլորտներ ունի SADA-ն հիմա։
Absolutely. So SADA has become something that I've always dreamed of, which is a company that is making real impact for our customers. I always think about not just the customer, like the company, which is not personal, it's sort of a company, but every company is made up of people who are making the decisions. So we serve the people and these customers who are making a very brave decision to change the way that they work, to change some important systems, to transform themselves, to disrupt themselves, because they want to be better companies. So these people are taking risks. I always feel very obligated to make sure that we help the CIO, CEO, CFO, whoever is making these decisions to be exceptionally successful. And I think once they become our customer, they almost become part of our family. And we really look after them in that way. If I was not doing this, I have no idea what I would be doing. This has always been my passion. My father's influence at home when I was growing up was always around technology. He brought technology home. I was always fascinated by technology. So I'm sure I would be doing something with technology, but I'm just very fortunate that we were in the right place at the right time to be on the forefront of cloud technology, and especially now with Google Cloud being really revolutionary in the industry.
Google-ի մասին խոսեցինք, բայց գիտեմ նաև, որ Հայաստանում հիմնել եք տեխնոլոգիաների մատակարարման գլոբալ կենտրոն ու նաև կցանկանայի ձեր կարծիքը լսել, թե ըստ ձեզ Հայաստանում ՏՏ ոլորտը հիմա որտեղ է գտնվում եւ դուք ուր եք տանելու։
Armenia has a tremendous opportunity now, especially to be defined by the technology that both is developed in the country and is exported from the country, and as a service provider for global multinational companies. And some of these companies, VMware, etc., have been in the country for a very, very long time. we really believe that it sort of is in the right place at the right time with a fantastic, energetic youth that is growing up with technology and knows and understands that anything is possible with technology. You don't need ports. You don't need open borders. You don't need any of those things to really develop and export some of the best technology in the world. And our job going into Armenia, and me and my father have talked about this, he's talked about this with many leaders in Armenia, both in private and public sector leaders, is we want to come to Armenia not to hire all the available talent, but to create more talent, to inspire more talent, to educate, to certify, to create more demand for engineering talent, not just in Armenia that already exists, but we actually want Armenians from all around the region and all around the world to want to come to Armenia and work there because it's a wonderful country with lots of opportunity, hopefully with continued stability and democracy. And if you're in the region, if you're in some of the surrounding countries and you're Armenian and you want a great job in technology, we hope that Armenia becomes the place where you want to come and work.
Իսկ նոր թիմակիցների կարիք ունեք, ովքեր կարող են դիմել ու նաև ինչպես եք ընտրելու ձեր լավագույն թիմակիցներին։
We have a partnership with staff.am where our company is listed with all the open requisitions, all the open jobs. There's probably 20 to 40 different jobs posted right now and available. We are hiring very aggressively, very rapidly. And Lilith, what was the most interesting discovery, I think, for us was initially we thought we would only really seek to hire technical talent, engineering talent. But our CFO, who's also Armenian, who we hired from our board of directors, she worked at GoPro, but she's born in Armenia. Lucine Yerozarian, she really directed us to also consider non-technical talent for her team. So we're talking about finance experts, accounting experts, sales operations experts. And we are just blown away by the quality of the talent in those types of fields. And so we hired first few finance roles in Yerevan, and we're extremely excited about doing more of the strategic back office operations in our GDC, not only the technical work from the GDC.
Հիմա նոր ստարտափ կամ ընկերություն հիմնելու մտքեր կան, պարոն Safoian?
I get this question all the time. It's very trendy to start a bunch of companies or invest in a bunch of companies. I think one thing that has made us successful is to recognize what the main opportunity is and to have the ability to say no to a lot of other things. It's very important in all of our lives, I think, in business or otherwise, to really focus, to not be distracted. I know it sounds so cool to say, oh, I'm starting this company. I've started 5 companies. I'm investing. But what's really even more cool is focusing every moment and energy and thought into one thing, like focusing a light from the sun. And that is part of, again, why I think we've been this successful, is because of just extreme focus, ability to avoid distractions. And look, one day, maybe in the future, when SADA is not growing this fast or something like this, there may be wonderful opportunities to start things or invest in things. But at a time where we're hiring, 150, 200, 250 people a year, where the business is growing 50, 60, 70, 80%, where it's very competitive, our customers are very demanding. Every day there's something new challenge. it's very distracting to think about anything else.
Այս տարի դուք նաև ճանաչվել եք Միացյալ Նահանգների լավագույն 50 աշխատատեղերը առաջարկող ընկերություններից, հետաքրքիր է թե ովքեր են թիմում, ովքեր են բաժնետերերը եւ ինչ առավելություններ եք առաջարկում ձեր աշխատակիցներին։
So far the company is owned by the family. We have some programs in place for the future in terms of what we plan to do with additional shareholders, etc. But one of the advantages we've had again so far is that we haven't had outside investors directing the company or maybe limiting the company and what we wanted to do creatively. We could really move fast. We could take chances, small risks, and I think that's provided the speed and the agility that is required in cloud computing. And with regards to being the best place to work, it's technical talent globally is in very short supply. And we understood many years ago that we are competing for the very, very same talent as VMware, as PwC, as Amazon, Google, Apple. In fact, there's many people that come to work for us from those places. And after a few years, a lot of our people, 5, 6, 7 years, they end up being hired by those companies. So that's the quality of the talent that we all seek. We knew that we had to create the most diverse, inclusive, open, collaborative, kind, exciting environment so that we could become a destination of choice for all of the best talent in the world, because we're competing with Google, we're competing with Amazon, we're competing with Microsoft, right?
With Intel also, yes?
With Intel, well, with everybody. I mean, we're literally all seeking some of the very similar talent, and we could not win like this idea of providing people the best and the most benefits or paying people more than anybody else can pay them. I mean, we can't compete with Apple and Google when it comes to those things. So we have to pay people very, very well and give them great benefits. But even more importantly, they have to choose SADA because they feel like here they can have a bigger impact than they can being, one person in a 100,000 employee company. And they have to respect their coworkers, love their manager, have a passion for the impact to customers, understand our mission. And that's why people come to SADA, both here and the GDC, not because we have the most benefits or perks. We have wonderful benefits and perks, but people come here because the culture is special, and a lot of that comes from the family, from my mother, from my father, and our roots. When you're here, you are family. You still have to perform at the highest levels, which is what we expect of ourselves and of everyone, but we really care for each other. SADA, I feel like, 450 people, that's a lot of families, and we will be hiring at least another 100 to 150 by the end of this year. Hopefully, a lot of those hires also in the GDC. And it's unbelievable that in 1 or 2 years, we could easily be 1,000 employees and all around the world.
Պարոն Սաֆոյան, իսկ որն է այն Հայաստանը, որտեղ կուզենայիք ապրել եւ երբ սպասենք ձեզ վերջապես Հայաստանին։
Շուտով կգանք եւ երեխաներին կբերենք իրանց առաջի անգամը կլինի, որ Երևան գան եւ տեսնեն. The Armenia that I would like to see, and not only for this current generation, but for future generations, is at the most fundamental level is one that is democratic and free and with opportunity for everyone to have a better life. This is the America I came to in 1987, from at the time Soviet Armenia, right? And we have proven that that American dream is real, what made America special for decades and decades and decades, and we hope that it continues in America, is everybody, when given the right opportunity, everybody can improve their lives. They have an opportunity to work very hard to improve their lives and the lives of their families. And that's really important, I think, for Armenians to feel like they can do that in Armenia. They don't have to go to Russia. They don't have to go to Europe. They don't have to come to America if they want to improve their lives. But I think the fundamental foundation for that is a stable government, a democratic government that takes good care of its people, and the education system is advanced and sophisticated, which we hope to have an influence on as well, whether it's with the sort of the kindergarten through high school system, or the wonderful universities, including AUA, of course, which we partner with closely. That education foundation has to be there, but so have the jobs. And our immediate impact is we're bringing lots of exciting, wonderful jobs to the country. One thing that I want the industry to understand, and I get this question a lot, is especially 2.5 years ago when we said, look, we're putting the whole focus on the business on Google Cloud. And at the time, Google Cloud was number 3, very small market share. And it was like, oh, what about Amazon? What about Microsoft? And now 2.5 years later, Google's growing significantly. What I want all of our potential customers and employees to understand is that it actually doesn't matter who's number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3. All those companies are going to have such a huge market impact that even the number 3 player will be a trillion-dollar company. Google Cloud will be so big. So don't worry about number 1, number 2, number 3. We love working with Google because Google creates the biggest change in our customers, and because it's the fastest moving, most exciting technology on the planet. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think people think, well, there's going to be 1 winner or 2 winners, and that's just not true. There's going to be many winners in cloud. We bet big on Google, and we hope that you join us in the GDC to go on this journey with us.
Google-ից խոսեցինք, դուք նաև նախորդ տարի $500 միլիարդ բազմամյա գործունեության պայմանագրի մասին հայտարարեցիք։ Մեր հայկական ընկերություններին ինչ խորհուրդ կտաք, որպեսզի կարողանան $1 միլիարդ ընկերություններ հիմնել։
It's so funny. A lot of my friends, and you asked about this, Lilith, are entrepreneurs, and they've created many, many, many companies. Literally, we've created 1, so I don't think that makes us an expert. But I go back to what I said earlier about focus. I think it's easy for people to get today, especially young people, to get distracted. Everything on, Facebook and Instagram and whatever, everything looks easy from the outside. And I think people are guided towards, let me try this and let me try that. It's very important to work in something that has an amazing amount of demand. Like, it's actually not that hard for SADA to grow because there's unlimited demand for cloud now and for the next 10 years, right? So we don't have to worry about creating the demand. It's there. We really have to focus on execution. So you have to work in an industry that has tons of demand, and then you have to focus on improving yourself in the value you're bringing to that industry, but you have to do it for a very long period of time, consistently. And I think that's where the big difference is, because it's human nature to be impatient, to want everything in 1 year. No. Things take 10 years, 20 years, as we've seen, right?
It's possible.
It's possible, of course, but you can't look at getting lucky and say that that's my strategy is I hope to get lucky. Luck will play a role, but you really have to be consistent. But it helps that you have a passion. Like I think about this, 12 to 14 hours a day. That's all I'm thinking about, right? Even though I have kids are wonderful. I spend time with them, my family, friends, but I'm thinking about this and I can't stop myself from thinking about it. It is my absolute passion. So that also helps because if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you cannot do it consistently for 10, 20 years at the high level. And I think that's the key, and that's been the key for us, for sure.
Եվ եւս մեկ կարճ հարց, ձեր առաջին ներդրումը որ ընկերությունում եք արել ու ինչի վրա եք ծախսել ձեր առաջին 1 միլիոնը?
Believe it or not, I don't make other investments. I really don't. I keep a very simple life from that standpoint. I would say the first million I'm sure was spent on our house. Houses are very expensive in Los Angeles. So that's I'm sure that's where it was being spent for sure.
Շնորհակալություն մեզ միանալու համար.
Շնորհակալ եմ. Thank you very much, Liv. Appreciate it.
Շնորհակալություն։ Հիշեցնենք, որ SADA-ն համարվում է Google Cloud-ի լավագույն գործընկերը եւ Միացյալ Նահանգներում համարվում է լավագույն 50 աշխատատեղերից մեկը։ Կհանդիպենք։